Pop culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on the Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Good morning, sunshines. So sorry I'm running late today. Listen, I had a really big morning, I should say. My friend, unfortunately, her father passed away recently, and she's French now. She got her nationality, but she's not born and raised here in France. She's from Turkey, actually. And so she went to Turkey to go handle things with her family and whatnot. And so she just got back into town. And so of course, I was so excited to go and see her. And so we spent like the whole morning and afternoon together. So I had a lot of like playing catch up sort of a thing to be able to prepare today's show for you guys. So sorry about that. You know, there's something that was so cute over there. Let me send you. So when I went to go visit her, so we hang out typically when I'm with her, we hang out in 7th arrondissement sometimes as well. So I got her this really beautiful bouquet, and I thought of you, Acacia. I don't know if you're here today, Miss Houston Rose Gardener, but Houston Rose Acacia, she has a YouTube channel and a TikTok channel where she talk a lot about like bouquets and whatnot. So I got to go to this like flower shop where they allowed you to pick and choose different like flowers and put it together to make your own bouquet. So typically when you're giving sympathy flowers, they're supposed to be white, but some touches of like cream and pink and whatnot was, really helped to make it pop. So I was really happy with the bouquet I was able to offer her. And shout out to you, Acacia, for helping me with bouquets via your YouTube channel, via your TikTok and what. Oh, she's here. Your TikTok and whatnot. So thank you, Acacia. Really lovely, honestly, because before I didn't know anything what I was doing when it came to bouquets and whatnot. So that's been really cool to learn from you. Anyway, thank y'all so much for being here. This is our final morning report of the week. And I want to remind you guys that next week, for at least the first 3 days up until Wednesday, I won't be doing the morning report because I really need to dig into my analytics and see what is going on, like what I need to do moving forward, blah, blah, blah. And I really need to take the time to do that. So just an FYI, I should be back for the final 2 days of next week. I'll keep you guys posted through the community tab. But we've got Gail in the house. Hey, Gail. Hey, Jessica. We've got Ramster here as well. She's joining us from the greenhouse. Love to see you. And I hope you're still doing much better today because Ramster was really going through it this week and last week as well. So it's nice to see that you're back out there moving and grooving and whatnot. Good morning, Gwen. Good morning, Kahara. Good morning, Venetia, Shonda, Tadisha, Stephanie as well. And it really did kind of feel a little bit long, didn't it, Steph, right? Good morning, Cammie. Good morning, Allie, Jenny, Jen, Kate, Gala. Oh my goodness, so nice to have y'all here. Good morning, Alexa, Kristen, Laura, Monica. Shout out to my Bush squad. Shout out to my playback posse. I'm so happy to be able to spend this Friday morning with you guys. Monica says her birthday was the 20th. Why didn't you tell us? Listen, we got a belated birthday. Happy belated birthday to you, Monica. How did you spend your birthday? Listen, y'all, if you can in the live chat, please help me wish Monica a happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Monica, y'all know I love celebrating you guys' birthdays. So thank you guys so much when you come in here and you share your birthday with us. So nice to see y'all here. And thank you so much, you guys, for the well wishes for my friend and whatnot. We've got a lot to discuss in today's episode of the Morning Report. We're still doing the Jace saga, you guys, honestly. So the latest update, and I was actually quite surprised when I saw Janelle's like Facebook page because she decided to do this kind of, how she works with Celebitchy to do these sorts of like, pay-per-click articles and whatnot, right? So she made the announcement through one of those articles that, hey, Jace is leaving. And it was just so detached and so cold, similar to the ways in which she would text him, right? Like when she's texting her own alleged son, F you, and all sorts of things, and like threatening to make his life miserable just because she can. So yes, it is true, as confirmed by Janelle herself, Jace has officially left Las Vegas and returned to North Carolina. TMZ has also verified the story, and they're not saying, though, who exactly it is that he is staying with in North Carolina. They're only saying that he's staying with a relative, but which relative could it possibly be, right? So Andrew and his family, they are living in Florida. Janelle is not on good terms with her sister, and her sister, no offense to Ashley, but her sister's not all that stable either. Her sister has had to relinquish some of the custody of, at least one of her children to their mother, Barbara. And, although Janelle is not on great terms with Barbara's the only person I can imagine taking care of Jace. So I personally am under the impression that that is who is currently watching him. You guys let me know if you feel any differently, though. And by the way, thank y'all so much for all of the birthday wishes for Monica. Hope you feel the love, Monica. Happy belated birthday to you again. So I'm going to read you guys the exact wording of the TMZ article, and you let me know what you think about all of this, okay, you guys? And I just have to say, I'm happy for Jace, and I really, truly, truly, truly hope that this time he is able to be put on the medication that he needs to be on, and that things kind of calm down for him. And I hope he knows that he's almost at the finish line. He's 16 years old. He only needs 2 more years before he is a full-fledged adult. I saw some comments, by the way, before I get into the article, but I saw some comments of people saying it would be great for Jace to have a job, right? How do you guys feel about that? Do you think that would be a good thing for Jace to help him kind of feel productive and to help him have some of his own money and whatnot? Let me know what you think in the live chat if you're watching live, or in the comment section if you're part of my playback posse, and whisper it to yourself if you're in the bushes. So this is a the TMZ article, okay? So they said that Janelle's relationship with her teenage son, Jace, has gone up in flames, fresh off of him leaking their private text messages, and he is no longer living under her roof in Vegas, and it's mainly because he's currently on probation. So sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ 16-year-old Jace is now living with a relative in North Carolina after he threatened to call CPS on Janelle when she grounded him for acting out. Our sources say, despite media reports, Jace never followed through and filed a CPS report. So when they say despite media reports, they're kind of low-key not shading, but talking about the Ashley, right? Because the Ashley is the one who broke the story that Jace was the relative who had threatened CPS. And then she also said that her sources said that Jace full-blown called CPS on Janelle as well, right? Then the U.S. Sun went and said something to the effect that Janelle denied it, like they reached out to her for comment. She said that CPS has not been in contact with them, but they haven't been able to verify her claims yet. And we all know Janelle likes to lie, right? So as of right now, I'm personally going to believe and trust the Ashley, because guess what? She knew that the Jace side of things before TMZ even reported it. This was not something they were reporting. And then when it comes to the probation and Jace and whatnot, that's not something that TMZ is breaking. So listen, I'm not saying that they're slipping here, but I'm just saying that maybe to them, the Teen Mom franchise isn't as important as other celebrities and other stories that they cover. So they don't dedicate that much time and that much manpower towards covering it. So the person who leaked the information about Jace being on probation is actually Janelle's ex-boyfriend and ex-manager, August. So if you watched yesterday's episode of The Morning Report, then you recall my suspicion is that August was paid something or promised something by Janelle in exchange for him speaking to OK Magazine and spilling the beans that Jace is on probation and also painting him as this terrible person. The whole article and interview was actually rather disturbing. Like if you don't read between the lines and really just try to analyze what he's saying, it looks as though he's being supportive and neutral to the whole situation, supporting Janelle, supporting Jace, but he threw this child under the bus. Nobody knew or suspected anything about him allegedly being on probation until August went and said that. And there's no real reason for him to go and say that because it doesn't add anything to this particular story, in my humble opinion, but I digress. Let's continue to read what it is that TMZ had to say about the situation, okay? So their sources say, despite media reports, that's what we went into. We're also told the primary issue with Jace is that he's currently on probation for committing a crime, and the terms of his probation are strict. His case is sealed because he's a minor. Well, here's the thing. If it's true and he committed a crime and it happened in Nevada, how is it that he was able to move around so quickly and so easily, right? When it came to shipping him to Florida, boom. And then before you know it, 2 weeks later, he's already back in Vegas, right? And then same thing, him going to North Carolina. He has a fight with Janelle 2 days ago. And then 2 days later, he's already on a flight to a different state. How is he able to move in and out of the state so quickly? Listen, I've never, committed crimes or anything like that. I've never been under the supervision of a probation officer. So I'm not sure how this works, but I do remember watching Gypsy Rose's show. And in it, like for any move that she wants to make, even if it's to watch a baseball game in a different state or whatever, she has to go through her probation officer. And this is something that takes a while. So that's something that I'm kind of curious about when it comes to this entire probation thing, right? I'm not saying that I think all of these publications are lying and whatnot, or that August is lying, this, that, and the other. However, I'm just fascinated by how quick and easy it is for Jace to be able to move in and out of the state of Nevada, despite allegedly being on probation. Very, very fascinating stuff. Listen, there's still more to this article. And of course, I want to continue reading it with you guys. However, I'm seeing so many comments coming through in the live chat. And so I want to get to some of your comments before we continue on with the story. Okay, so let's take a look at what it is that you guys have been saying. And I agree, Acacia. Listen, I wish MTV would step in here, because I do think that they're at least partly responsible for this current situation that he has found himself in. Green Banana says, I think it would be a good thing for Jace to get a job, might help him direct his energy into something and take his mind off of it all. I agree, right? Like hopefully a physical job, a job that leaves him nice and tired, right? Like something would be, I don't know what his passions are, to be honest with you. I don't know if he's into music. I don't know if he's into cars, dirt bikes, motorcycles, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. But I really hope that he finds something that makes his heart sing and that makes him feel a sense of purpose and a sense of pride. I think that those are things that he really, truly needs to feel, and a sense of belonging as well. And so I really hope that for him. Alyssa says, my things is I've expressed how upsetting it is to hear stories on minors. Oh, I like to repost. So sorry, Alyssa. It's such a big story. And the whole premise of 16 and Pregnant Teen Mom is stories on the kids, right? So I can't just suddenly stop talking about the kids that we've been talking about for over 10 years, but I'm sorry you feel that way. Steph says he's been working since he was a baby and has no savings right now. I wouldn't want to work at that point. Oh, that is such a good point as well. And this is something you hear with so many child stars, right? Like they've been working forever and they're working grueling hours, like actors particularly, right? And so they're expecting at the end of it that their parents who love them so much and who are responsible people or whatever had put away money for them, only to find out that there's literally nothing left. And I really would hate for that to be the case with him. I just, I'm really hoping, because Barbara was his guardian for like the majority of his childhood, I'm really, really hoping that she diligently squirreled away money for him, although I'm scared that Janelle might have, I don't know. Oh, I really hate to think about it. I really, really do hope that there is money put away for him, because he deserves it. And, you're right, Steph. Like, maybe he needs, but that's the thing. I don't know, man. I'm so stressed just trying to think of like what could be the best thing for him, because like he deserves rest and everything. But that's the thing, like an idle, teenager who's already going through so much. Is that the best thing? I don't know. Ramster says, I don't think Janelle cares where he lives as long as it's not with her. And you know what? That's the sad part, right? So she's going through all this. She just shipped him off. And what is she sharing on social media? That she and Tori are still going out partying. So your son's going through it. Like he's packing his bags, leaving the state, and you still have time to party. And then you've got your two kids over there that are trying to digest all of this that they're currently going through, and you're going to like what? Like honestly, it is so freaking hard to wrap your mind around how her mind works, how her brain works. Like it's just mind-boggling, genuinely. Like, how is that? Who is looking after like the emotional, at least, like well-being of these kids who are constantly seeing their siblings shuttled around either by CPS or a random other? Like, what is this, right? Chrissy says, I saw that comment of him needing a job with strong male role models. I think it's actually a good idea. And I agree. I don't know. Is he too old for the boys and girls clubs or the boy club? What do they call it? Where they like give you role models and stuff like that? Like, you know, when they help like get you with mentors and stuff. Like, I don't know. I really do hope for something for him. Remember when he was with Barbara used to have him in the Boy Scouts. Like, that was a really cool like thing for him, you know? Shelby says Gypsy was on parole. Exactly. So we saw her, you know, with the parole and everything, having to run everything by her parole officer. And it's not something that like a decision that's made like that. Like, it takes time. Like, typically it was seeming like it would take even like weeks to get those answers, right? Or a week minimum or something like that. So I don't know how they're able to move so quickly when it comes to Jace and the situation, right? Hey, make it make sense. I was just watching your video. I love your new camera. Like, it looked so crispy. It looks really, really good. I like this preppy. I said, do you like it? Thank you. Listen, it's getting chilly over here. It was 16 degrees when I was out with my friend this morning, and I still don't want to wear a jacket. So I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and just wear myself a nice sweater. And you know what I love about this? It's all one thing. Because I used to try to put like these button ups under my sweaters, and then you'd feel bigger and whatnot, and you'd have all these wrinkles. Not doing it. Nope. It's a 2-in-1. So thank you so much, Mems. Ronnie says, oh my God, I made it here today. I miss everything. Well, I'm happy to have you here today. I'm sorry you missed yesterday, but listen, today is a new day and you're here. So amen to that, Ronnie. Thanks for joining us. Jenny says there's different conditions for probation, but I would think the PO would have to be informed. Well, that's it, right? Or so maybe this is the thing, right? Maybe because, probation and whatnot for adults versus juveniles, they're different things. So maybe there's a certain level of flexibility when it comes to juvenile. Just trying to imagine and play, devil's advocate here when it comes to Jace's situation and why it is that all of this is happening so quickly. Gail says, I agree with you. I wish that MTV would give Jace a check so he can have his own money. Amen to that. I really, really, really do hope so. I do. Honestly, I would hate to hear about these kids having their money stolen. And listen, we already started hearing rumblings of that. Remember when Leah was deep in the throes of her addiction? And so Corey accused her of going to their daughter's savings account, taking the money, right? Like $50,000 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And then, she later claimed that he was lying and that she took the money and moved it into like a certificate of deposit for higher returns or something like that. But this was an era where she was really deep into addiction. She was spending a lot of money on rugs and whatnot. And she was a pathological liar at this point. So what really did happen to that money? Was it reimbursed? I don't know. And don't forget, she's currently facing a lot of debt. Like a lot of tax debt, right? So can she pay back that money if she hasn't already? I don't know. So I wouldn't be surprised if we started hearing these sorts of stories as the kids get older and older. Make it make sense as what's the actual expectations though? Unless the show earmark funds in a trust fund for the kids, what would you expect from teenagers who are pregnant and on reality TV? They will all go broke. And that's the sad part, because these kids are reality kids versus child actors or whatever. The safeguarding in place for their money and everything is pretty much non-existent, unfortunately. So it really does come down to their parents. And with Jace having Janelle, which is arguably the worst one of all, I'm nervous for him. I really, really am. I think all of the kids deserve to have all their money. But, I feel like, I'm just rooting for him more than anybody because of what he's gone through. And I'm scared that he's going to be the one yet again to get the ultimate short end of the stick. Laura says, yeah, especially with minors, probation does require notice if you're even living the state. Exactly, right? So is it just notice, like you tell them and then that's it? Because when I was thinking of notice, it's notice, then the person has to respond and accept or deny that, right? Mocha says the fact that Janelle didn't even put an effort into Jace's future with his education, she invested in David. Yeah, more than she invested in her own son. Gag it, right? She says, no, I'm not paying for his mental health services. This is too expensive. Meanwhile, when it came to David, I will buy you all of these power tools. I will buy you all of these guns. I will buy you a boat. I will buy you anything that your heart desires. Crazy. Angela says, hey, Grace, I work for a house arrest program and the inmates can go practically anywhere as long as they have a court order specifying it. Well, damn. And thanks so much for this intel, Angela. Well, there you have it, you guys. Now it looks like, that might be it. This might be a lot more flexible for Jace than we would have imagined. And did we talk about whether or not we think that the relative in North Carolina that Jace is staying with is Barbara? Because that's who I've got my money on. I can't imagine anybody else. In this particular moment, but you guys let me know. Steph says, I don't think Meme saved any of his money. He needs to feel seen. He needs therapy and a hobby. He's not the type of kid where being on a team sport will help and make him worse. Really? Make it worse for him? Really? You don't think so? For sport? Really? Because I was about to suggest that too, like maybe getting into boxing, like something that really, really helps to get your energy burnt, right? And then obviously all the male influences there and everything, just all the energy in that. But you know what, maybe you're right, I don't know, but that is I really am hoping for that for him, truly, because this is just so sad. Nobody deserves the childhood that he's gone through so far. Hey, Kev says, I need Jace to write a book exposing everything. And you know what? I would not be surprised if he ultimately wound up doing that. Listen, can I ask you guys, who do you think is going to be the first one to publish their own memoir about what it was like growing up on television? So it looks like a lot of y'all are hoping for Jace to do that, which hell yeah, I'm hoping for that too. But who do you think is actually going to be the first one to do it? And which parent do you think is going to block their child as much as possible for doing that? Let me know. Maybe they'll be like, I'll sue you or something. Right? What do you guys think? Let me know. Because listen, when you mention people in these books, it can be a little bit tricky, right? If you don't have their explicit written signed permission, you might have to change their name or something like that, or, be a little bit more vague. I don't know. Y'all let me know. This could get really, really messy really soon. Winnie the Cat says, sign him up for the spinoff. Amen. Right? That spinoff, it's in session. The contracts have gone out and everything. So what do you think? Very, very, I lost my train of thought, but wow. Hey, Angela. Oh, she's right next door in London. Nice to see you. And thank you so much for the love. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, Angela in London. I'm hoping to come back there soon, especially for the jerk chicken. I love Jamaican food. Y'all know it's my favorite food in the world. And London has some bomb ass Jamaican food. And I really want to come back, even if it's just for that. Mim says, Janelle might be the worst, but Farrah's a close second. Oh, she's definitely up there as well. And don't forget Amber Portwood. Mind you, Amber is live right now, strung out of her mind on TikTok, as she is all day, every day. Chrissy says, Jace will likely need victim services backing him up. Yeah. Laura says, you have to call and make sure, let them know. So there it is. And that it's okay with them. So this is a quick one. They can stop a move for both a minor and adult if they're leaving the state. So thank you for this. Wow. Good luck, Jace, honestly. No, listen, I really truly do hope that he knows that we're all behind him. There are so many people who grew up on the show or who have been watching the show for over a decade, right? And who want nothing but for the best for him. Acacia says, Kale is so money hungry. It'll be Isaac to write the first book. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Right. However, she would probably be heavily overseeing this book to make sure it paints her in a good light. You're not going to see you're not going to hear all the ins and outs of what's it like to have all these random, kids and their dads and whatnot, in your family, you know what I mean? I don't think it's going to give those insights. It's probably going to be about his coming out and how supportive and wonderful and angelic his mom was about that sort of a thing. Tadisha says, Kale will probably sue Isaac. She's made everyone in her life sign NDA. So imagine if he wrote a book and really told her secrets truthfully. There's no way. I don't know that I think she would sue him. However, I think that if he were to write a book, she would really make sure that it was heavily sensitized when it came to her. Gwen says, or maybe Leah and Amber will lose her ish. You know what? Can you guys picture that? Leah? That would be interesting. Here's the thing though, she's not really, is she even on social media? I have no clue. As far as who's on social media, I think the only ones that I'm aware of are, and with their own accounts, not the parents running it, right? Jace, there's somebody else, Jace and Isaac. So far, is there anyone else? I don't know, but Leah, that would be a really interesting one, right? She sees things so clearly, and Amber will go for the jugular. And you know what? I will be here to read whoever drops the first book. I am really, looking forward to them being able to tell tell their side of things, right? And being able to have and own their own voice for the first time ever. When he says, Leah will also write, but Amber will try to block it. Yup, Marissa. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Marissa, David's daughter, will also write one. And Janelle will say, it's all lies. And it's easier than ever to publish a book. These people could even go and write ebooks or something like that, right? Kev says, Isaac low-key might be the first one to do that, but Kale might help him out to make sure. Yup, that's exactly. We have the exact same conclusion. And Sophia, does Sophia have her own, or is it run by Farrah? Mim says Farrah will ghostwrite Sophia's book and use advanced. I don't know if you saw this, so to Mims and everybody else, but with my channel members, when we first started reading the memoirs of the Teen Mom Girls, our first one that we tackled was Farrah Abraham, My Teenage Dream Ended. And it was so hard to read because it was nonsensical. Like the words just did not go together at all. Like we were like, what is this? I think we lasted maybe 10 pages maximum before we gave up. Like it was terrible. So that's how you'll know if Sophia is ghostwritten by Farrah. And, it wouldn't be the first time, Mims and everybody, because that's the whole thing. So Sophia, a lot of her social media, if not all of it, is run by Farrah. And it's got the same word salad that Farrah always uses, right? So she loves to praise herself via Sophia's Instagram account. So if that's any indication of what a Sophia Abraham book might be like, right? Or quote unquote Sophia Abraham, like buckle up. Cammy says Amber will sue Leah for sure if she wrote a book bash. I wouldn't be surprised. Amber is so prideful and she's got so much anger boiling in her. And I don't think that she feels this attachment, to her daughter. So I wouldn't be surprised if she took it there for real. Mocha says, Kel probably has had Isaac sign an NDA already. Can you imagine that? Your own child signing an NDA. Oh, God, absolutely insane. Now, you guys, listen, I want to continue reading the TMZ article about what exactly is going on in this particular situation, okay? So it said that as part of his probation, we're told Jace needs to enroll in an anger management class. One source tells us he doesn't do well with authority. As for Janelle, we're told she's focused on keeping a stable home for her other two kids. Jace's behavior was starting to affect them, so she could no longer have him living under the same roof, which is crazy, right? Because the gag is, Jace is this big bad wolf. That's what she truly wants us to believe. However, Jace is who she has watching the kids while she goes out partying left, right, and center with Tori. So is she really trustworthy? Is she really reliable when it comes to that? It feels like she is the source that has been going to these publications, because all of these stories are very, very heavily biased and slanted in her favor, when we all know that she is the problem in this situation. And I hate that. We talked about this, ever since the story broke, about how Janelle truly has always publicly gaslit Jace, right? And try to turn the public against him. So, take all of these claims again about him with a grain of salt, because they're coming from Janelle Lauren Evans. So they continue on to say that we are told Jace ultimately wanted to go to North Carolina and Janelle allowed it because she thinks it is for the best. So there you go, you guys. Listen, I really do hope that he's with Barbara, and I hope that he's settled in there, and that everything goes well for him moving forward. It feels like he has been through way, way, way too much. Gail says it'll be Amber. She's already said she doesn't want Leah on the spinoff on MTV. And that's the thing. I kind of wish that Gary had already, I kind of wish that Gary had done something when it came to the custody of Leah, when it came to the child support, like something, you know what I mean? Because I would hate for Amber to be able to like flex that muscle when she hasn't been there to raise the daughter, but she can like impact that sort of thing, like she doesn't deserve that. Steph says Stella or Nova definitely writing a book. What if they write a joint book together, sisters, like memoir or something like that? Hold my foot, Joe. Hey, boom. I think either Leah or Jace, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it too, you guys. Listen. It's really unfair what happened to these kids. Like, it truly is. Like, it's so abnormal that their entire lives have played out on television. Misha says, whoever drops the book, college will be paid in full. Abso-freaking-lutely. Good luck to these kids, honestly. They're going to need a lot of therapy, in my opinion. Exactly. And look, it seems like you guys know. You see who are the controlling parents, right? Can I ask you, what about Aubrey? So Chelsea's kids, especially in comparison to the other kids on this franchise. Like they seem to be living a relatively like normal, happy, calm childhood. Do you think that even well-adjusted, comfortable, happy kids from the franchise could potentially write a book? Like, do you think that Bentley could write a book or something like that? And do you think that everyone who writes a book or who potentially writes a book is going to write a memoir? Hey, OMG. Or do you think that it's going to be a mixture? Like maybe some people are going to want to be, published authors in general, right? Whether it's children's book, young adult novel, something, right? Like you really never know. So I'm really curious about that. I think that's going to be the most exciting thing out of this entire, MTV experiment, is seeing what actually ends up happening, like what they choose to do as their careers and whatnot. Like it's all so crazy. It definitely gives Truman Show vibes, like absolutely insane to think that we've been there from the very beginning with them, and we know every little thing about them. Sometimes when you really take a step back and think about it, you're like, damn, like that's crazy. I can't believe the network did that to them. I can't believe their parents did that to them. Like that's actually relatively alarming. Good morning, Cynthia. Nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in for the Playback Posse, and I'm happy that you're here live with us today. Now, you guys, listen, we're going to take a little bit of a break to have a word from some of our sponsors. And then on the flip side, we're going to continue on with some of our other stories for the day. So we're going to be talking about Jax Taylor. So do you remember how on the Valley, Danny Bucco accused him of sleeping with all of his employees at his restaurant, Jax's, or his bar? Well, a lot of his former employees are coming out, speaking out, and they're confirming that it is allegedly true that Jax was, he was laying it low and spreading it wide at the bar. And they're explaining how exactly that was able to happen, because it just sounds ridiculous, right? But they said that he was very systematic about how he was doing this. And then after that, we are going to talk about and he's a firecracker. Good guess, Acacia. Can you imagine that? Firecracker Lex. Hell yeah. I'd be down for that. And then after the Jax story, we're also going to be talking about Lil Nas X. I don't know if you got to hear this or not, but yesterday, some very alarming news broke about him and how he was roaming around the streets of LA pretty much naked. He was just in his underwear, cowboy boots, and some kind of like a pylon on his head. And now it's turned out that earlier in the day, he already was showing signs of having some mental health issues. So here he is, shirtless in a lobby of a random hotel, just wandering around, sitting around, doing a whole lot of nothing and just acting strange in general. So I've got an update on his condition. Unfortunately, he is currently in jail. So yesterday when I went to bed, he was in the hospital, and I woke up to the news of him being in jail. This whole situation is so sad and alarming. So like I said, all that on the flip side, all that and more on the flip side. So if you're enjoying today's episode of The Morning Report, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you very soon with the rest of the day's stories. The Morning Report is brought to you by Philo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Tired of learning languages in boring, frustrating ways? Try TalkPal. TalkPal is your personal AI language tutor. It teaches you languages in fun, engaging ways. It gives you real-time feedback, assesses your pronunciation, and the learning process is personalized just for you. Join millions of other learners and start your language learning journey today. Oh, all right, so here we are back. We got to talk about Jax Taylor from the Valley. Listen, if I never hear about this man again, it'll be too soon, because every single thing you hear about this man is absolutely atrocious. Like, I do think that he has some sort of an ex addiction. I really, really do. And just, I don't get how anybody is still falling for him and his BS, you guys. So shout out to the US Sun for breaking this story, because I'm actually rather stunned at all of it, to be honest. So like I mentioned earlier, a lot of his female staff members from his bar, or his former, now defunct bar, Jax's, are coming out and saying that what Danny alleged about him is indeed true. Jax, he's a little run through, y'all. He was running through all of the ladies over there at his bar. So one woman who worked there for over a year told the US Sun that in addition to her, Jax has slept with multiple employees. Quote, I thought I was the only one that he slept with from work, but after everything ended, I found out he told the same things and used the same tricks on a few of us. He used his power there and his charm to manipulate his own staffers, make us think we were the first employee he had ever been with so that we had to keep it a secret. He would make me believe he would never risk breaking the rules for anyone else but me. Sometimes at the bar, he would make actual comments or inappropriate innuendos at the workplace. I know it made me feel uncomfortable because I wouldn't know how to respond, given he's still my boss and I was at work. We all felt like we had to go along with it. And so other people had come forward to the publication. Another one said that Jax aggressively pursued her after finding her on Instagram and DMing her and saying that his behavior caused her emotional whiplash. Quote, he was extremely actual right from the first few minutes of conversation. He made plans instantly, talked about our future and what that would look like, and how he told his friends that he was in love with me. Then he gave me his phone number right away because he said his team watches what he does on socials. We would text all day long and he was immediately so vulnerable and open with me. He'd say the kindest things and love bomb me day in and day out. I was hesitant at first because of his intensity and honesty, but I found out he told all of us girls that we were the only ones he was talking to and how he doesn't see anyone or do anything. And that's how all of this is so new to him. Well, here's my thing. Who even wants to be this, the special girl that Jax Taylor saw? Like, how are these girls not disgusted by this man? Like, these girls, like, they know Vanderpump Rules. They know about the Valley. They know about Jax and his reputation. So why was this even anything, you know what I mean? Anything worthwhile to that? That's what I don't understand. Like, with a lot of women, especially, like, they'll see these men on television treat several women like garbage, like just objects. And yet, for some reason, they're still ready to like line up and be the next one to get played. You know, he lies, cheats, and steals because that's what he was doing on the show. Ever since we met him on Vanderpump Rules, that's the playbook that he was doing, right? That's what he was using on the ladies. So why would you fall for it? Like, not to blame them, but like, honestly, like at what point do people just, like when do people get the ick? Like you should have the ick from this guy. It's like Brittany says, he's dirty. He's filthy. He is so dirty. Laura says, one of my famous friends on local news today. Oh, what happened? He's a dirty person, and the girls are talking about how he wouldn't use protection with them. So this guy from TV who has several groupies and who openly on the show talked about how he slept with like, hundreds, if not thousands of women. You're letting that raw dog you? Really? Like that's what we're doing? Okay. Couldn't be me, but okay. The guy could not even, like how sometimes people talk to you and they put their hand, you couldn't even put your hand on my shoulder, sir. Ugh, he's disgusting. I don't get it. He's disgusting. Honestly, he's disgusting. I don't get it. Oh, it makes you shudder. We got a super chat, you guys. Thank you so much for the super chat, OMG. So it's a super chat and some tea. Please spill. OMG says, I love some Jax. Oh, I thought you said I have some Jax tea. She says, oh, I love Jax tea. He absolutely freaking is. And I still cannot understand why his charm works on women. Just look at him. I'm sorry, but he looks filthy. I don't get it. I truly do not. It's just so weird to me that any woman would agree to sleep with this guy at all. Like, oh my God. It's like sleeping with like, do you guys know the Seine River here in Paris, how filthy that thing is? It's like agreeing to go skinny dipping in there and maybe like drinking some of that water. Like, like it's just so gross. Why would you do that to yourself? Ew. Ali says Jax is going to leave a legacy of being ground zero for an STD. He's a petri dish. The man is a petri dish. It's gross. Ladies, please, if he ever comes to you and starts flirting with you, do not take the bait. Like you're putting your health in danger, messing with that man. So he says, I'm not surprised. I'm more surprised Britney stayed. Same here. Like how that man, he was terrible to her. Absolutely terrible from the very beginning. Everybody said, please, Brittany, don't do this. You could do better. I don't know how she survived. Listen, I feel like I'm too weak for these things. Like 10 years of unhappiness and being spoken to that. Like I couldn't do it. I don't know how she did it. God bless. So Lisa says, oh my God, I sent you this story. Did you? Oh my God. Well, there you go. Listen, we're on the same wavelength, boo. Isn't that crazy? Honestly, no protection. Yes, he was doing them raw, Milan. Yes. Exactly. And these girls, they know him. They're fans of him. They saw him on the show. Like, why would you do this, right? And so the lady who was talking about how he like kind of like got at her directly through her DMs and whatnot, she's like, yeah, he was like actual off the bat. Why did you entertain that? Seriously, if a man that you don't even know is talking to you like that, he sees you as like a freaking like a walking like sex doll. So why do you entertain that? You know what I mean? Like, we gotta have standards for ourselves, ladies. Like, please, I'm so tired of hearing these like heavily preventable like BS stories. You know what I mean? Of just people walking headfirst into red flags. Do not let a man treat you like a piece of meat like that. No. And so he even told her in one of his DMs that he, quote, wanted to put his DNA inside of her. Isn't that crazy? Like, a man you do not know, or you barely know because you just started working at his bar. He's DMing you. He's being creepy. And he's just, you already know he's gross, and he's a hound dog, and he has a reputation for using and abusing and discarding women. He's talking about, I want to put my DNA inside you. I want to raw dog you. And you go, yeah, let's go on a date. Let's raw dog. What is that? What is that? That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Jesus. B Chocolate says, I think a lot of his employees gave in because they thought it would be a ticket to reality TV career. Exactly. That's what I think. That's what I think too. You know, sometimes these people have ulterior motives themselves. That's why they walk into these like stupid situations, right? They're like, listen, does it come with fame? Does it come with money? Does it, okay, I'll suffer a little bit. So, that's what I think about a lot of these people, unfortunately, right? And I'm telling you, like, would you want that guy's hand on your shoulder? Ew, like, just gross. I'm sorry, he's so freaking gross. I do not get it at all. Hey, Tiff, nice to see you, boo. Anyway, you guys, listen, I'll keep you posted. So far, Jax has not responded. And just as a reminder, his methodical way to get at all these ladies was to tell them each that they're the only one that he was seeing or whatever. And again, that's something that we saw him do. Remember when he was juggling two girls? He was juggling Carmen, the one who was going to go to law school, and Val, I think her name is, or somebody else. Like, he's always had multiple women. Then when he started seeing Brittany, he was also flirting with Lala. If Lala wanted him, he would have like left Brittany in a heartbeat for Lala, right? And hooked up with Lala at the very least. And so another thing that Jax used to do to seduce these ladies and get them hooked was that he would give them merch. So, listen, free products, basically. This didn't cost him anything. He didn't really have to wine and dine them. All he had to do is DM them, say he wanted to put his DNA in them, and give them a free shirt that cost him nothing because it's on the business account. And they were all in. Really, that's crazy, right? And then on top of that, he asked you to go and create photos using his merch for him to get off to. So what do you really gain in that situation, right? He has everything to gain, and for nothing, for free 99. It's crazy. Absolutely insane. And anyway, listen, this thing is going to wind me up. I don't want to talk about it anymore. This is going to wind me up. Honestly, good luck to these ladies. I don't know that there's any recourse. Perhaps they could try to like sue him on the grounds of, sexual harassment, workplace, blah, blah. But now that the bar is over, it's defunct. Is it still a possibility? I don't know. If you guys work in law or anything like that, especially employment law, feel free to chime in the live chat if you're watching me live, or if you're part of my playback posse, feel free to let us know in the comment section, okay? Now let's see what some of you guys have to say about that. Oh my God. Amelia. My Shayla, thank you so much for this question. It's so cute. She says, what does raw dog mean? Is it edible? Oh, you don't want to eat that, baby girl. You don't want to eat that. Raw dogging is when you have sex without a condom, basically, without protection, we'll say. So yeah, these ladies were letting this guy who was a known whore raw dog them, put it in with no protection. Like, it's insane. Absolutely insane, guys. There are certain things that you can get and never get rid of. Be careful. Don't do this. Don't do this. This says, mind you, this is what Brittany was defending 2 months ago, right? I don't know how Brittany wants us to believe he never cheated. Right? She's really convinced that since they got married, somehow the ring magically changed him. No, girl, the ring didn't mean a thing. Oh, whoa, whoa. He did not change. And that's why you're getting divorced, because he's still the same degenerate that he always was. Steph says, when I was younger, I worked in places like Wing House, and the managers were all like that. They play favorites, and that's how some girls get the ads. Oh, lo, and fun money making gigs. Oh, God. Don't even get me started. That's how it unfortunately always is in the workplace. I remember telling you guys about like the sexual harassment I was dealing with this gigantic 50-something-year-old man with kids my age when I first started working in the corporate. Like, it's so tiresome. It really is, but never, never, ever fall for it. Don't do it. Like, really, no, guys, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't fall for this nonsense. If you guys have HR, definitely run to HR. Listen, I'm not scared to snitch. I ran to HR. I said, absolutely not. I'm not dealing with this. Hell no. We got Theo in the house. Hey, Theo. Theo says, what did the shirt say? I let Jax hit it, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. That's what it should have said, right? Because come on now, really? Listen, I feel like a lot of like these cool girls, these laid back girls have put the bar in hell. And that's why these men are so comfortable offering quite literally nothing. Like, how are you going to let a man raw dog you? And, all a man has to do is send you an Instagram DM threatening to shoot up with your club with his freaking DNA and give you a free t-shirt, and you're letting that man hit it raw and risk your health. Like, really? Like, what happened to standards? What is that? That's crazy. That's scary. What is that? Right? Oh my goodness gracious. Amelia, apparently you're trolling me. God, thanks for putting me on game, God. Amelia, what is this, honey? Hold my foot, Joe says, I let Jack hit it. Now I need penicillin. Listen, guys, make sure your shots are lined up. You will need it messing with some of these people. Ew. Listen, when you let somebody hit it raw, even when you don't, you're kind of low-key sleeping with all the people they're sleeping with. So if it's a man that's known for letting it, hang out all the time, he's, sleeping with everybody, be very, very, very careful. Because even with protection, there's some things that condoms won't protect you from. So don't give those men any play. Jeep says, Kill is such a control for, you're part of my playback posse. Nice to see you. Yes, yes, yes. And I completely agree. Oh, Lord have mercy. And I agree, B Chocolate. I think that's what a lot of it comes down to. And a lot of them don't want to admit it. A lot of them want to paint themselves as the victims or this or that. But listen, we're grown. Really, we're freaking grown. What is that? What is that? Right? Unfortunately, low self-esteem is an epidemic amongst young women. And I agree. And I think fame is a hell of a drug. A lot of people are willing to endure and risk a lot of crap just to be famous or just to have money, right? And it's sick, right? Exactly, Theo. That's exactly what it is. Be careful. Truly, some people get things that they will never ever come back from. And for what? For what? For a man who never even brought anything to your life but a free t-shirt? Like, we got to be smarter than that. Now, you guys, listen, we are up to our final story of the day. We've got to talk about Lil Nas X. I was so sad when I heard this story. I got to be honest with you guys, though. And I feel bad for saying this, but at first I thought it was a stunt because Lil Nas X is very famous for pulling stunts, right? Remember when he showed up pregnant and he was giving birth in the hospital to promote one of his songs, blah, blah, right? So I had seen the video of him wandering around the streets of LA at like 2 a.m. or something like that in his underwear with nothing but cowboy boots. And he's talking about a party. There's a party. You need to be at the party. Then he finds a traffic cone, puts it on his head, and he's still just like wandering around and whatnot. And it's actually really, really, really terribly bad. So he was found on Ventura Boulevard acting like this at 4:00 in the morning. Somebody who was driving past him took the opportunity to record the hell out of him. So if you guys can, please check out that video. But they were just recording him, following him around. And I felt really badly for him in that instance because this person obviously was thinking about selling the story to TMZ rather than his, health, safety, and well-being, because Lil Nas X was in the middle of the street and the guy couldn't care less. The guy is driving and doing this. That's somebody who doesn't care. And I find that to be really, really freaking sad, right? So other people who witnessed this, they called for the police, and the police did manage to go and, apprehend him. Apparently, Lil Nas X had charged at them when they were trying to arrest him or try to have a discussion with him about what was going on and everything. And that led to him being arrested, you guys, in the, shortly after his hotel. Sorry, not his hotel, shortly after his hospital stint. And so I got to be honest with you guys, though. Can I ask you, if somebody is having a mental health episode and they're behaving like this, and maybe their behavior towards the police is, not what it should be, should they still be arrested? Like, or is it just, okay, well, this person is not in their right mind. Their brain isn't working right now. The cops are okay. This person's okay. We just get them the psychological help that they need and we call it a day. Because when I initially heard about this and I heard that he charged them or whatever, I thought that they were going to just, let it go because of the specific circumstance. But no, instead he was charged with a misdemeanor offense, although it's not yet fully clear. Hang on. It was battery and on a peace officer, right? I don't know. Like, did he punch them? Did he slap them? It doesn't say. All it says is that he charged at them. And to me, when you charge at a person, you're kind of just like running at them. But does that harm them? I don't know. Are you headbutting them? Maybe. I don't know. Right? Like I pointed out earlier, his mental break did not start at 3-4 in the morning. Apparently he was like that all day. So this is him wandering around a hotel lobby shirtless and just, acting very, very strangely. So good luck to Lil Nas X. Honestly, I do wonder if he's kind of crashing out because of how things have turned out with his career. So when he came out with that viral hit song, Old Town Road, like it got a lot of attention. It earned him a lot of money. And he did a lot of these other songs that were really, really like popular, really cool. And I think I followed him on TikTok, but I remember him kind of like openly talking about how he's in his flop era. He's not getting the views. He's not getting the streams that he was getting. And so he wanted to take us along on the journey to figuring out what's happening with that and how to get back on top to where he once was. So maybe I'm kind of feeling like, okay, perhaps behind the scenes, the stress and the pressure of like going from here to, kind of decreasing in popularity or whatever and income, maybe that's what was getting to him. I don't know. But, good luck to him, whatever it is that he's going through. I hope he finds the help that he needs. But, and I do kind of feel bad for wondering if it was some sort of a publicity stunt, you guys. I do. April, he was charged with battery on a peace officer, and it is a misdemeanor charge. And I agree. I feel like charging him is a little bit excessive, in my opinion. Like he's, I can't definitively say that he's mentally ill, right? But this seemed to have been a mental health crisis. They said that he had overdosed, but they don't say on what, right? They said it was a possible overdose, but they don't specify. So as of right now, I don't personally, hang on, you guys. I don't know who's calling me. I don't personally want to put that out there. For now, I'm thinking of it more so as a mental health episode. Sorry, you guys, hang on. Somebody I've been trying to reach for the past 3 days is finally calling me while I'm streaming, and I do. Jesus Christ. Sorry, you guys. No arrest, straight to the hospital and rehab help. And I agree. I think that sometimes, when it comes to these mental health things, you have to look at different options. Aaron says behavioral teams need to be called, not cops. Exactly. I agree. You may have to call me. Hold My Foot Joe says the thing about it is trained professionals have a hard time determining if it's drug-induced psychosis or mental health. So it's hard to train them how to respond. Exactly. So good luck to Lil Nas X. Cheers to him. And I hope everything works out for the better. Now, you guys, I have to call. Sorry, this is somebody I had to get something from ASAP. Take care, you guys. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.